Happy Wednesday, everyone. So, today I'm going to be talking about the Devil's Den murder in Arkansas. Also, we're going to talk about President Trump, how he is employing 1,000 troops in D.C. because he's cleaning up the streets. He is getting rid of the criminals. And I hope and pray it's not a distraction from the Epstein files because people still want to know the truth. The people want to know, including me. Okay, I would like to know who was involved in the Epstein human trafficking and for them to be held accountable for that. So I hope what he's doing is a great thing. He's employing 1,000 troops in DC to clean up the streets and get rid of the criminals. And also, let's not let it be a distraction because we still are not forgetting about the Epstein files. And lastly, we're going to talk about Georgia, how they actually approved Parents Accountability Act. So now parents are going to be accountable for their children's action, meaning if your children commits a crime like stealing items at Walgreens or Kohl's or whatever, your parents are going to be accountable for that because who raised you, kids can just go into stores and just start stealing because they feel like it and because mommy or daddy or one or the other saying that that's okay when it's not okay. Crime is not okay, and there needs to be law and order in the United States. So welcome back, everyone, to That Said. This is a sad, sad tale to talk about in regards to the Devil's Den of two parents were stabbed to death from a former teacher. This is James McGann, and this is him. Damn, he looks very scary. He looks like he can, yeah, hurt someone, and he actually did. He hurt two innocent parents of Kristen and Clinton, and they risked their life to protect their daughters. And these are the two parents that lost their lives. And I have to say, they gave absolutely bravery to do whatever they can um, to save their daughters, and that's what parents should do. You know what I mean? And Kristen, the mother, took her daughters, brought them to safety, so they will be not in harm's way. And then she came back, to help her husband, and then unfortunately she got stabbed to death, and she did both didn't make it. And the sad thing about it is that the children, the daughters, lost both their parents and actually witnessed this horrible act of violence. And I can't even imagine what the girls are going through and how much therapy they're going to need and love and support from family members and friends that they had to witness an act of crime, an act of horror that occurred to them, and they were the only thing they were doing was going on a hiking trail. You know what I mean? You would never thought in a million years that you would go on a hiking trail and just be attacked by a random crazy lunatic person. You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a cop, a priest, a lawyer, a doctor. There's crazy lunatics out there, sadly to say, okay, that you don't know what they're capable of because majority of them are unhinged and unbalanced, okay? And it's really sad. So I just want to show you clippings of the news in regards to this. But this is James McGann, 28-year-old, Springdale connection of the Duma homicide that occurred on Saturday, July 26th of 2025 at the Devil's Den State Park. McGann was taken into custody at 4:57 p.m. on a Wednesday, July 30th. In a business in Springdale. He was charged with 2 counts of capital murder, Clinton David Brinks and Kristen Amanda Brinks. 43 and 41 were fatally attacked while hiking with their 2 daughters. The girls are 7 and 9, were not injured, thank God, and are safe. I can't even read. Forgive me. Not injured and are safe with family members, thank God. Now, This was a teacher, a former teacher, and he was currently teaching at a school. And my thing is, who the hell is hiring these people? Like, seriously, this is scary. Hiring people. It's just very effing crazy, okay? This is why some parents are not putting their kids into schools because you just don't know. You just don't know. But anyway, I'm just going to show you clippings of reporting of the killer. And he did confess, by the way. They didn't know at first because there was a manhunt. I'm searching for him for 4 days, and finally they found him, and he confessed. So I don't. They don't need to go through trial or anything. The man confessed. He brutally stabbed these two people to death, and he needs to be locked up. Actually, not even locked up. He should get the death penalty. He should. He should. He should be. Yeah, he should get the lethal injection, and that's it for taking innocent people's life for no apparent reason. And we're trying to figure out the connection. Like, what made him do that? What was his connection with these people? Probably nothing because he never met these people before in his entire life until that day on July 26th. But like I said, let me show you a clipping of this. But before I go do that, let me find the article. Nope, this is not it. Not the video, the article, so I can read it to you because it can be blurry. Haha, there we go. But before I show that, let me just show you the reporting. Oh, that's not it. Sorry, guys. Okay. Now, this video that I'm about to show you, there's no audio. However, what you going to see right now? Him being arrested because he went to a barber shop to get his hair cut because he was trying to change his look and his appearance. So when shit hit the fan, which it did, that people won't be looking for him, but they already caught him, with GPS and everything. So take a look what happened. Whoops, sorry. Again, there's no audio. Okay. I'm glad they caught them. I'm glad they caught that SOB, and he deserves everything he gets. This is another clipping of the suspect. Well, he's not a suspect, but he's a murderer. Excuse me.
That arrest in Arkansas after a horrible crime on a hiking trail. 28-year-old Andrew McGann is charged with 2 counts of capital murder. He's accused of killing a couple walking with their daughters in a state park.
Arkansas officials tell us that they arrested McGann yesterday afternoon at this beauty salon right behind me. They say he just moved to the area from Oklahoma, where he was a teacher and was about to start a new job here.
If you commit a violent, senseless act here in our state, our law enforcement will hunt you down and bring you to justice.
A 5-day manhunt is over. Authorities have arrested 28-year-old school teacher Andrew James McGann, the man suspected in a double homicide at an Arkansas state park. Clinton and Kristen Brink were hiking with their 2 daughters, ages 7 and 9, about 170 miles northwest of Little Rock when they were fatally attacked. The sisters escaped to the visitor center unharmed, asking for help.
They advised that their parents were assaulted. One was possibly stabbed. The parents are missing.
Emergency responders found the parents motionless on the hiking path.
Our hearts just go out to
the
family and the victims.
Everyone that witnessed that.
It's just, our hearts break for them.
State and local police worked with the FBI to comb through tips from the public. At this time, they have not released a motive.
Because of their hard work and investigative skill, we were able to take a monster off the streets and bring relief to Clinton and Kristen's precious girls.
McGann recently worked as a 5th grade teacher in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and our CBS affiliate in Tulsa got a statement from the district saying he left on his own and he had passed all the background checks. So, again, when it comes to a motive, Vlad, police say they are still trying to piece it together.
That's crazy. Yeah, he was. He teach at a 5th grade class in Oklahoma City, but like the reporter said, his background was clean. There was nothing crazy or weird, anything about him. and that's scary. You know what I mean? Then he moved here in Springdale, and got hired at a new position as a teacher, and this happened. So I don't know what was the motive of him attacking these two parents in a hiking trail in the Devil's Den Park. What motivated him to do that? Um, my suspicion is that he was not trying to attack the children. He was not aiming them, but I just don't understand what was his motive for brutally stabbing these two people. You know what I mean? These two innocent people that had nothing to do with him or anything. They were going hiking with their daughters, and unfortunately, you know, wrong place at the wrong time, and it's very sad. It's very sad, and like I said, my heart goes out to the victims and the daughters, and they're going to need a lot of therapy, a lot of support, because that is trauma. That is trauma that it doesn't go away overnight. They witness their parents getting murdered. You know, that's a hard thing to deal with. But I will hope that family members will tell these girls that their parents were brave. The mother was brave. The mother took her daughters, put them to safety, and it came back to help her husband. That's bravery right there. Most people would just grab their kids and run for safety and call 911 and leave the husband behind. And that's fine. It that make you a less of a person or anything like that. But when you're in that situation, all you can do and think about is the safety of your children. And she did that, and she went back and check up on her husband so she can help her husband. And that is bravery on her part and his part too, because they both were trying to protect their daughters. And it's just sad and unfortunate that happened to these two good people, good people that didn't deserve this, that did not deserve to be brutally stabbed to death like that. It's utterly disgusting and immoral, and this man is just crazy and unhinged. But I want to read to you this article, what one of the former teachers, one of the students said about James McGann. And also I'm going to show you the last clipping of this video that a parent said something about this former teacher that he but said something inappropriately. And that should have been a red flag right away. And maybe that's why he got fired or something like that. But anyway, let me read this article to you really quickly. Now it says, the parent of the student speaked out. Mr. McGann was giving a lot of special treatment to girls in particular. He was giving them candy, bringing them Sonic drinks. What the in the world? Sonic drinks. You never know. He might be laced. He probably laced that. Anyway, playing tag with them, tickling them. What the? And then tickling them and just really suspicious behavior. Yeah, that's suspicious behavior. That's like you trying to groom one of these young girls, bringing them candy. That's how it happens. You know what I mean? When you have sickos like him who try to be nice with kids, bring them candy, bring them drinks, build a trust, build that they're in a safe place, and then next to knowing that he will do something to the girls. You get what I'm saying? It's just utterly disgusting, and it's scary. It's very scary because you would think when you're at work that you trust these teachers, you know what I mean, with your child. And this would happen. But before I end this topic, I just want to show you this last clipping of this video that a parent speaked out regarding this, what I just read in this article. Is very scary and it's very disturbing. Very disturbing. Take a listen to, this is the wrong one. Where am I? There we go. And this is very, very disturbing. So take a listen.
He eventually told me that him and some other classmates had noticed.
Sorry, you guys. It didn't pop up. There we go. Let's roll this beautiful footage again. Here we go.
He eventually told me that him and some other classmates had noticed that Mr. McGann was very touchy and showed a lot of favoritism to certain girls in the class. And that when they would go out for recess, sometimes he would choose one of those girls to stay behind. Just one-on-one, him in the classroom while everyone went outside. And that when they'd come back from recess, he would sometimes have the little girl in his lap. And around the same time, he would bring like treats and goodies and stuff, but just for these little girls. And I think the straw that finally, made my son just like snap and spill it all was that he had heard Mr. McGann tell one of the little girls, "If you were older, I would love to marry you." And
oh my gosh, disgusting. I'm glad that little kid said something to his mom and speak up. And more kids need to do that. More parents need to educate their children that when you see or hear anything appropriate, anything, speak out and tell your parents. It's super important. I'm glad that little boy did that. I'm glad that he said something to his mother, and his mother went to the school and reported it. It's absolutely disgusting and scary on top of that. Okay, you have a little girl sit on your lap, giving them candy and drinks, special treatment. Again, he was trying to groom one of these girls, okay? Get close to them, be nice to them, build their trust, and then he would have probably done something inappropriately, okay? I'm sorry, he probably was a predator, a child predator. He probably was not into it yet because what made him kill those two people? You know what I mean? Something snapped. When you have a serial killer or a psychopath, they start with animals first, okay? First of all. Once they start with animals and they enjoy it, they get the thrill out of it, very sicko people, then they start with humans, okay? Then they start with, doing inappropriate things with little kids, pedophiles, okay? And it seemed like that's what that teacher was, a fucking pedophile. Excuse my language. I can't stand that. That just really irks me, that these type of men, or women too, would do that to innocent children. Innocent children. It disgusts me, okay? It disgusts me. But anyway, I'm going off topic and I'm raging on because I'm just so furious that this disgusting man would do that to a little girl. You know what I mean? And poor girl, she didn't know. She didn't know no better. She thought this teacher was cool and nice and giving me candy, giving me this, when all reality was he was trying to groom this girl. Okay? And luckily, thank God, that little boy said something to his mom. But let me continue on with this video.
Just made him deeply uncomfortable because even at 9, he recognized, like,
amen,
this is weird, this is weird behavior from a teacher.
That's it. See? Weird from a teacher. I thank God. That's what's super important, to teach your kids these things. You know what I mean? From an early on age, that they can comprehend and they know that this is wrong, this is inappropriate, to report it. And like I said, I'm very, very glad that the little boy did that and said something to his mom. I'm very happy about that. But like I said, it's very sad what happened to Clinton Brinks and Kristen Brinks. These two people, lost their lives just to protect their daughters. They went to a hiking trail, and you never thought in a million years, like I said, or expect, when you go on a hiking trail, when you do anything, that you will just be attacked and be stabbed to death for no apparent reason, because you have unhinged people. And like I said, you don't even know who they are. Lawyers, doctors, priests, contractors, you just never know. It's a really scary world out there. Really, really scary. And like I said, my prayers go out to them, and that's what I'm going to say about that topic. So moving on, you guys, President Trump, yes, a source told me that President Trump is employing 1,000 troops in D.C., and he is cleaning up the streets. He's cleaning up the streets, getting rid of the homeless, cleaning up the streets, getting rid of criminals and crime and stuff like that, which is amazing because that needed to be done, even though the crime rates were very low since he became in office, but still. And he's starting with D.C. I hope he starts with other states like Chicago, New York, other Colorado, other high places that have high crimes. But I just don't want it to be a distraction from the Epstein files because, like I said, we need transparency. People that were involved in this needs to be held accountable. And I just don't understand again, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, you guys. These people need to be held accountable. I just don't understand how it's okay for pedophiles to have sex with underage girls, and then you have people that's powerful and rich, and get away with it. But again, when you have average people who do this to innocent children, they get penalized, meaning that they go to jail, they get a trial, and then they spend the rest of their freaking life in prison. So why is it okay for middle class people and perverts when they do the crime and then they do the time, but when you have rich, influenced people that have money and power and know a lot of connections and a lot of people, it's okay? How is that okay? How is that fair? How do you expect American people to trust the government, to trust the system? I keep saying, and I tell my friends this, and I tell people this, and they just laugh at me and think I'm crazy. The government is corrupt. I don't trust the government because, like I said, the government is not for the people, okay? They're just for themselves and they're to cover it up. For instance, like Diddy's trial, I thought there was going to be real justice. Boy, I was naive and dumb and stupid. It was not even about that. It was all about what he knew and what he had in his possession in his homes. Because apparently he had tapes that the FBI was not aware of, and then that's why they raided his house. And that's why they wanted to know what type of tapes that Diddy has so they can confiscate them and so they can protect the people that were involved in this. That's what it was all about. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but the whole trial was a shit show. It was a shit show because think about it. How come the prosecutor did not bring Christina Kamor when that was Diddy's right-hand woman? She knew everything about Diddy's operation business, left and right. She'd been working for Diddy for decades, okay? The other gentlemen too. They didn't bring those two in. You know what I mean? I just feel like the prosecutors did the bare minimum. You know what I mean? They didn't really do their jobs. They kept focused on the RICO charge when they knew, I believe they knew it was something more, but again, they did the bare minimum. They kept bringing the abuse of Diddy and Cassie, which that what we all saw, the whole world saw, was disgusting and despicable. He's a man, he's a woman beater, okay? He's a woman beater. We all know that, but it passed the jurisdiction. You know what I mean? Like Cassie couldn't press charges of that because it had to expire. But it showed the American people and the whole world what type of man that Diddy is. That he likes to beat on women and he likes that control and power. But again, the whole trial, and I even covered it, it was a shit show. You know what I mean? It was all about the FBI trying to cover their tracking and protecting people who were involved in all this. The same thing with the Epstein, okay? They know who the people are, and they're still protecting them. And the real question is why? Why are they protecting them? What do they have on them that they can't even be honest to the American people and just do the right thing? You know, your job is to serve and protect and above the law, not above the law, but to do your law duties to protect people. And again, you're protecting the perverts and the pedophiles that molesting young kids. And I would think if it was your children, your niece, your nephew, that you would want justice for it. But because it's not your kids and it's not none of your family members, it's not your fucking problem. That's what they're saying. It's not your fucking problem. And to me, I'd rather them be honest and say, F you, we're not going to release the files. F you, that we know the perverts, and we're not gonna do anything. I would have more respect for them for that, instead of like gaslighting us and telling us what we want to hear, telling us this is gonna happen, that's not gonna happen. For goodness sake, they even moved Ghislaine Maxwell to a lower maximum security. I wonder why. You get what I'm saying? It's basically like it's like the motel. You know what I mean? A motel of a jail motel. You know what I mean? Like there's like luxury motels, and basically this is like a low budget motel that she's staying in the prison. That's what they're doing, and that's the deal that they arranged with her. I don't think that Trump is going to pardon her at all because I believe that she was involved in all this. She knows a lot, because if that was the case, then she would have said something a long time ago. Okay, and they moved her because I don't know what she told the attorneys, what information that she knows, but I wouldn't even trust it. I wouldn't even believe any word that comes out of that woman's mouth, because she's a liar. She is a child molester. She's been abusing young girls for a very long time with Jeffrey Epstein and got away with it. And she doesn't deserve to be pardoned. She doesn't deserve anything. And I don't know why they moved her ass. She should have just stayed in that prison in Florida, in my opinion. Okay, so like I said, I just hope that this is not like a distraction. You know, I'm glad that President Trump is doing what he needs to do to clean up the streets and clean up, the city in DC and make the streets safe again, because you want to walk down the street with your children or a friend, whatever, and not feel like you're going to be attacked. Especially what happened in oh my gosh, in Cincinnati, okay, in Ohio. See, I didn't say Idaho. Make sure. Anyway, you get what I'm saying? Because what happened that last month, it was just utterly disgusting. Utterly disgusting that people were just being brutally attacked for no apparent reason, and no one didn't say or do anything. One person, like I said, call 911. Call 911. Anyway, so I hope it's not a distraction. People are not going to forget about the Epstein file. And, just be honest. Just be transparent. You know what I mean? Just tell us, listen, we know who the perpetrators are, and we're not going to release anything. Just be honest. Tell the truth. Because I can tell you, I do not trust the FBI, CIA, MI6. I don't trust any government because they lie. They lie so much. They don't even know what the truth is anymore. Okay? They're only protecting their own. And that's the bottom line. And it's sad to say that because I'm an American, and I will hope that, God forbid, if something happened to my family members or someone that I love and care about, there will be justice. And unfortunately, there's no justice. There's only justice for the middle class. Or maybe not the middle class. I feel like there's no justice at all. I feel like, they use the system because they know people and they know what they're doing. And once you break a law or do something incriminating or whatever, someone can just wipe it off. Meaning that, not wipe it off, but you have a clean slate. They can get rid of it. They can get rid of evidence. Just like they did with John F. Kennedy, with Martin Luther King, with the Epstein. The list goes on and on and on and on, you guys, okay? There's so many dirty secrets that it should be uncovered, but it's never going to be uncovered. We're never going to know the truth because they're going to say, well, we can't handle the truth. Yes, we can. We can handle the truth and the transparency. But when you keep lying to the American people and gaslighting us and saying there's nothing there, we should just go away. Why do we keep talking about this? Hello? This man been having sex with underage girls for the last you-know-what, okay? So how can you just tell us to turn a blind eye and say that we shouldn't worry about it? We shouldn't care. We should care. We should definitely care. And for you to say that if we keep talking about that you're not really Trump supporters. Really? It had nothing to do with being a Trump supporter. It's about what's right and what's wrong and getting justice for these victims that were molested by Epstein and Maxwell. How come she's the only one that's serving time? Where's the rest of these jerks off? You get what I'm saying? Where's the rest of these assholes? They should be punished too. They should be held accountable. And they're not. It is utterly disgusting. You know what I mean? And I'm really disgusted and disappointed in our whole system and our justice system because it's broken. I don't care what anyone tells me. Oh, it's a work in progress. It's been a work in progress before I was even born. Okay? And I don't trust it. I don't trust the government. I don't trust our laws because it's rules for one and then rules not for the other. You get what I'm saying? If you have money and whatever, you get away with a lot of stuff. And it's sad. It's really sad. But moving on to my last topic, and which I'm very pleased to hear about this because it's about freaking time. It really is because we need parents to take accountability of their badass ghetto kids. Okay, majority of the ghetto kids. I just want to say that. But yes, parents need to take accountability of their badass kids when they just break the law, and sometimes they can't do anything. You know what I mean? So if a child has a gun, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, and shoots someone, they can't prosecute them because they're young and they're a minor. You know what I mean? You have to wait or put them in the detention center or whatever. They can't do anything. And that's sad. So that's okay for little kids to commit crimes and go and steal and do things, and that's okay? No, it's not okay. And the reason why I'm saying that, because the Parent Accountability Act in Georgia has been passed. So, meaning there will be no more attacking teachers, no more attacking elderlies, no more going to Walgreens, and you know what I'm talking about with the Walgreens, and stealing. No more of none of that, because if your kid do that, then the parents are going to have accountability of your child's action, okay? Because the thing is, you have to raise your kids from right and wrong. You have to raise your kids, and you can't just go to the middle of Walgreens or Kohl's or any department store, or any store, and just go start stealing, or just start, doing crimes, okay? That is not okay. You see what I'm saying? If you didn't want kids, then you shouldn't have kids in the first place. If you didn't want responsibility, then maybe you should have thought about that. But now that you have kids, then you have to teach them from right and wrong and not have them, act like hooligans and fools. And I'm glad that they're doing this. I hope more states are doing this, but it's just Georgia. So basically, I'm just going to read to you the proposal act. It says parents' responsibility. The act would make parents responsible for their child's action, specifically if the child assaults a teacher. Very good. Potential penalties. Parents could face fines, community service, and even potential jail. That's it. Jail. That's it. That's right. If your kids act up and act stupid and act like a hooligan, you're going to jail. Rightfully so. I'm all for it. I am. Because your kids should not be doing that. And where are you? I get it. Parents work and whatever. But again, you have to sit your child down and tell them they can't do all these foolishness things and thinking that that's okay. Look what happened to those 9-year-old boys. Went to Walgreens and started stealing things, and that's okay. And then one kid with the green robe just talking all ghetto slang. I couldn't even understand what the word he was saying. And another kid was asking for his mom. No. If you think you're grown and you think you can steal from Walgreens, then your ass should be in jail. Put the fear in them. You know what I mean? And now the mom should be in jail, and the sister. And this is my suspicions before I continue reading this. This is what I think. The sister dropped those 3 boys off, okay, with an empty bag of gift bags, okay? I believe the sister knew what she wanted her brothers to do. Go to Walgreens and try to steal every mother effing thing that you can, and fill that bag up like it's Halloween, like it's like it's Halloween, like you're taking candy, okay? Fill it up. She dropped them off and she left. And she makes sure time herself, made sure that time. Then the manager locked the boys in because she noticed that they were stealing. Well, there's cameras. People just realize there's no camera. They don't think that there's cameras around. There's cameras. People can see what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? So the manager locked the boys in, and they started acting crazy. But you know what? Let me show you the footage again, just to remind you guys of the 3 hooligans, these 3 criminals, okay? Take a look. Whoops, not this one.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this up. 10. Open this fucking door. Oh, come on. Come on. Bitch, I been knew how to count, bro. Choke 4 out of that. Dad do that. You can open the door.
Disrespectful. Disgusting.
I'm not playing. You know how to count. You have hands. Open the door. Open up this door before we break this bitch. Break it. Go ahead. I'm gonna break some up in this bitch. I'm God. You guys must be dumb. I would like that for the with y'all. Do not play with it. Do not like that, but you can't open the door. Do not play with it. Open the door, shit. You can open it.
Okay. You get my point. Okay. I just wanted to remind you guys. Okay. Now, the mom should go to jail, and the sister. Okay. And apparently, one of the boys figured it out how to unlock the door, and they left. So continue on the rules of the Georgia law of parents' responsibility to teach your kids rights and making sure they're not acting like criminals, because those 3 boys, they're criminals. Obviously, they were taught and learned by their sister. Okay, this the way the one of the little boys with the green robe, how he speaks. Okay, how he spoke to the manager. Okay, obviously not proper English. Okay, ghetto slang. I have no idea what he was saying, and obviously he got it from his sister or his mom, one of those 2. Okay, and like I said in my previous video, there's no father, there's no active man, teaching these boys from right and wrong. So they're getting that from their mother and the sister as well, because the next time they posted it on social media, like they did what they did was a good thing. Like it was okay to steal. It was okay to go to Walgreens and steal a bunch of snacks and toys. You didn't even steal essentials like toilet paper, food, You get what I'm saying? Like real food. Not. I'm not saying I'm condoning it, but still. And then you saying it's okay to do that? And then now you think you're famous because you're stealing? No. People are laughing at you, okay? And your sister because all three of you sound dumb and stupid and criminals. That's what you are. And if you don't get your life right, you're going to end up in prison or dead, God forbid, okay? And now that they have this law of Parents Accountability Act, now the next time when you act up or act stupid and thinking like you're a hooligan, one of your family members, your mother or your sister will go to jail. And that's how it should be. And I'm all for it. And I hope every state is like that. Florida, Georgia is doing it now. North Carolina, I don't care. Every state should be approving this, okay? Because there needs to be some accountability because the sister's not taking accountability for her three brothers. She's condoning it. She's saying that this is okay, that there's nothing wrong doing this. And it's not okay. You can't teach young kids to steal. And I feel bad for these three boys because it's really the sister and the mom who are the adults here who are supposed to, teach their kids right from wrong and also to give them positive constructive criticism and saying that you cannot do this and take those 3 bags and return them because what you're doing is wrong. Because when you steal, there's consequences for your action, and they're not doing that. They're what's the word? They're allowing it. They're saying that it's okay to do that. It's okay to go to Walgreens. It's okay to go to Kohl's. It's okay to go anywhere and just take what you want and not even ask and not to pay for it. And that's completely wrong. You can't do that in America, okay? I guarantee if they were in a foreign country, Middle East, their hands would be chopped off. And then they will learn. And I think they need to do that here. Then our laws need to be more stricter. You know what I mean? Because if you were in any other foreign country and you caught stealing, your hands would be chopped off. You go to jail. Now, I'm not saying to do that to a 9-year-old boy, but at least put some fear into them. They have no fear. Like they're thinking that what they're doing is absolutely okay, and they're going to continue doing it until there is some accountability, until there's action. It's going to happen. You get what I'm saying? I want to show you this last clipping of a mother with her daughters, her children. I think it was a daughter and a son. Went to Kohl's, and I didn't even know about this. You know how like when you place an order online, and then for like if you're in Kohl's or if you're in any department store, and then a Target, and then they can they have your name in it, and you can go pick it up. You know, any random person can just go there and then just pick up your item that you paid for online and then just take off. And the people that work in the department store, they're not going to question it because they assume that it's you, which I feel like that's a bad system. I feel like if they're going to grab something, they should check for ID. That should be a new policy to check the person's ID to make sure that this is the person that placed that order online. But this woman went to Kohl's, okay, grabbed a few items that was not hers, with her kids there, with her kids. And her kids are watching her mom do this. Went there, pick up the items, left, come back, and did exactly the same thing. How crazy is that? So this mother is teaching her kids that it's okay to go to the department store and steal. You see what I'm saying? You see what's happening here, you guys? No accountability. That's why she needs to go to jail. The mother. Because you teaching your kids, innocent kids, that it's okay to go and steal. Because you don't want to work. You don't want to spend your hard-earned money to purchase something, but you're stealing someone else's item that they worked hard for, and now they have to get a reimbursement or deal with all the nonsense because something that this woman did. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. People disgust me when they do that because they think that they just have a right to go any department store and just act crazy and just start stealing and taking things that don't belong to them. And she's an adult, and you teaching your kids to do that. That's sad, and that's pathetic. But I'm going to let you take a look at the this video and what the police officer had to say about this. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy what's going on here. Like we're living in the last days, you guys. Okay, Judgment Day is coming, and people are just acting crazy, and it seems like they really don't care about the law. They're above the law. Like they just can just go and steal and take and do things. It's just crazy. But anyway, I know I keep rambling on, but let you take a listen to this video or take a look. Excuse me.
On video in all 8 stores. Most time they're going in at closing time.
Police suspect the timing is intentional.
They're going in and they're going straight back to the customer service area where there's a self pickup for Kohl's. So when you order something from Kohl's, there's an area where you can go and just do self pickup, and there's a paper bag with Kohl's name on it right there. They're going back and taking people's items, opening the bags, taking what they want from those bags, and then reusing those bags as concealment.
So first they're stealing from individual customers who already paid for stuff. Then they're going into the store.
Look at her.
Yes.
Criminal.
Stealing more stuff.
Criminal.
And they have kids with them.
And they have kids with them. The majority of the things they're stealing is Legos.
Police say the sets include new style Legos like these, likely being sold online for profit.
Disgusting.
And police say the women steal other items too. And in this video, you see the women walking with children. Reusable bags stuffed, police say, with items women didn't pay for. The theft's bad enough, but police say they're worried for these kids.
They're with the females that are there. I'm not sure
Arrest
if they're
them.
parents or not. And they're watching what they're doing.
While the women have gotten away without any contact, police say they're not sure what would happen if they're approached. Someone tried to stop them.
It's not just the theft, it's all the other things that go along with it, putting people in danger, the kids in danger that have kids with them at this time.
Let me pause. Obviously, you don't want to make a scene, okay? And he's right, because there's kids involved. But you do it in a non-violent way. You pull these women aside somewhere and say, listen, we caught you on camera. You've been stealing items from 5 different stores, 5 different apartments, and I can tell you where too. Let me just pull up my phone and tell you guys really quickly. Okay, so Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and it says searching for 2 women and a man who were caught on camera stealing for several stores with little kids. So this is not their first rodeo. It seemed like they have done this before. It seems like they're very pros, and then they're bringing their kids involved. And my thing is, do what you do? What's that word? Obviously, keep a track on them, observe them. You know what I mean? Until you make your move that there's no kids involved, because we don't want any kids to be harmed. And then you arrest these bastards. You know what I mean? They're stealing, and then their kids are watching, thinking that that's okay, and that's really sad. It's really sad, and it's not okay. You know what I mean? But continue.
And how far will they go? We're not sure.
In some cases, a man has been seen with the women, and in the majority of the cases, the same car with a Delaware paper tag. Police say the same women have targeted stores in Delaware, South Jersey, and 2 stores in Chester County, and police want to find these women, especially, they say, because of the kids.
It's just disturbing that, they bring kids with them during these types of thefts.
It is. It's sad. It's sad and unfortunate, and I agree with this this gentleman 100%. Those kids should be taken away from their parents, okay? Obviously, it seems like they don't have a job, and then the only easy thing for them to do is just go to different department stores and steal. Steal from other people who work hard, who do the right thing, who pay taxes, and then this is what they get. It's utterly disgusting. You know what I mean? There needs to be justice. There needs to be law and order, because apparently there's no law and order, okay? None of them. And that's what Trump is doing. I pray other states are doing it too. This is unacceptable, okay? Unacceptable that you have your kids are watching you. And adults don't understand. Kids look up to us. They look up to adults. You know what I mean? They think that we are their superheroes. You know what I mean? So when you do something inappropriate or do something that is not right, they pick up on that. They want to copy and mimic you. You know what I mean? It's like similar like having a dog. And I know that's a different analogy, but like when you raise a dog, you know what I mean? That's your dog, and then they're going to follow every move or anything that you say or do, because you are you're the owner. You know what I mean? They have my husband was like saying that he's the alpha, because Apollo listens to him more than me. Even though Apollo listens to me, but he listens to my husband more. You know what I mean? Because he's the male alpha, which that's fine. But my whole point is that when you raise a dog they're they listen, they follow your lead. And I don't want to compare a dog to a human being, a child, but it's the same thing when you raise a child. They're going to follow your lead because you're their adult and you're supposed to lead the example. If you teach your child to hate, and you've been doing that the whole time they're growing up, they're going to learn to hate other people. They're going to learn to disrespect people. They're going to learn that they don't care about what anyone people say. Okay? That's how it is. If you teach your kids how to steal, how to be nasty, how to be disrespectful, that's what they're going to do early on until their adulthood, because that's all they know. That's what they've been taught. You get what I'm saying? Just like when you teach a dog to be aggressive and attack people and whatever, that's all they know. They're going to attack people because that's all the dog knows. You know what I mean? But if you treat, with love and kindness and respect, and treat them for right and for wrong, then you won't have an issue and you won't have a problem. Right? Right. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's it with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow.